Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Four Corners of Commentary. I'm Kyle, aka Mr. Marvel.
Hi,
I'm Brandon, aka QS.
I am Christian, aka Stretch.
I'm Troy, aka Striker Drago.
So, thank you guys for listening once again. We really appreciate it. And as always, please like, subscribe, and share our videos. Once again, we will have our audio up soon on Spotify and other platforms. Also, make sure you have your notifications on so you know when we drop our episodes. We got a lot of things coming up, as I said previously. But today's episode, this is the fourth episode, and once again, we are sticking with the number theme. I know it seems to be like our own little thing, but this is it, I swear. Okay, I take that swear back. But today's episode is about Fatal 4-Ways. We're going to talk about our Fatal 4-Way matches, which we are sticking to one Fatal 4-Way that we will talk about thoroughly. So I'm going to start with Mr. Stretch. What's going on, man?
Things are good, man. I can't complain. In doing research for this topic, I had to go not too far back in the Rolodex. Fatal 4-Ways are relatively new in the historical scheme of things when it comes to professional wrestling. The Fatal 4-Way match that I picked is so intense, given the storyline, I feel, that it had a pay-per-view named after it. February 1997. It is the Final Four match, which which Brandon is basically letting me know that was probably the match he picked. Pounding on his chest right now. We are on the same wavelength as usual. It features The Undertaker, Bret the Hitman Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then the man they call Vader. Storyline for this matchup was rest in peace of Vader, arguably the greatest super heavyweight worker of all time. One of the rare birds. I'll get into Vader. You almost made me lose my train of thought. I'm supposed to be describing the match, not Vader. So the context of this match, this was the time that Shawn Michaels was then WWF champion at the time. And a knee injury, unfortunately, caused him to vacate the WWE championship, WWF at the time championship, with an incident which is classically referred to as him losing his smile because of the speech he gave to Vince McMahon in the middle of the ring when vacating the championship. He won the championship at Royal Rumble by defeating Sid in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. But that wasn't that was the main event of that night. But let's talk about the Royal Rumble, which is the crux of what this match is founded off of. The Royal Rumble match featured the Final Four, quote unquote, which is a little funny story about that I'll get into as I describe it. Bret Hart originally was the man who won, quote unquote, the match. He was the last man standing. He eliminated everybody, including Stone Cold Steve Austin, but unbeknownst to the referees, Austin snuck back in the ring and eliminated Hart. Thus, he is the official winner of the Royal Rumble match. With that said, Bret Hart, of course, complained about this result and actually, in kayfabe, quit the WWF. But as far as like the fun fact that I have, if you watch the 1997 Royal Rumble, the Final Four that are in that match is not the Final Four that's wrestling in February 1997, the Final Four match. It is actually Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Vader, and the fake Diesel for the Final Four of the 1997 Royal Rumble. If anybody wants to keep track of the eliminations and see how people got thrown out, but they were not about to put the fake Diesel in that match. Therefore, Vader and Stone Cold Steve Austin were, along with The Undertaker, the Final Four, quote unquote, of the Royal Rumble. So the title is vacated. Austin is complaining because Gorilla Monsoon wants to do right and find a new WWF champion. Austin obviously wants the belt handed to him because he won the match. He, in a funny tirade on Raw, Austin looks at Gorilla Monsoon and says, "There is no instant replay. in the WWF. I should have the championship. You call yourself the Gorilla, and I'm quoting Austin when I say this. You call yourself the Gorilla, but yet when you come out here, you hee-haw like a jackass. And it is one of the greatest lines that Austin has ever said. I love that line. But long story short, Monsoon comes up with this Final Four match, and the rules of the match is a winner could be declared. It's an elimination match. Winners can be declared by pinfall, submission, or over-the-top rope elimination. So we fast forward to that In Your House pay-per-view. All four men come to the ring, and it's intense as a brawl from the start. I mean, this is a barn burner. Austin and Hart are paired off. Vader and The Undertaker, who were having a feud at the time. Paul Bearer just left The Undertaker the previous year to pair himself up with Mankind, and at the Royal Rumble, he paired himself up with Vader, helping him win the match against The Undertaker. Those two are paired off, and it's a pair six brawl from the start. Vader is busted open early in the match from an errant kick of the chair, The Undertaker kicked the chair directly in his face, and Vader is absolutely bleeding buckets throughout this match. I mean, his eye is swollen shut. He's got a huge cut over it. Like when I tell you that Vader paid his price in blood for this match, he absolutely did. Austin and Hart are going at it tooth and nail, and there's like splinter fights between everybody throughout this match. First guy eliminated is Austin via the top rope by Bret Hart. Second guy eliminated is Vader. Vader goes for a Vader bomb on The Undertaker. He sits up, punches Vader literally below the belt, and then Vader tumbles over the top rope. So that leaves Hart and Taker to be the last two in the match. Those two are brawling tooth and nail. Steve Austin comes back to ringside to try to get his hands on Bret Hart. In doing so, The Undertaker has Hart in the tombstone, but what does Austin do? He pulls Hart out of the tombstone setup, which leads to the Undertaker and Austin getting into it. Bret Hart tries to roll up The Undertaker. Taker kicks out. Taker charges Hart. Hart ducks the clothesline, and then Hart clotheslines Taker and eliminates him over the top rope, and he wins the match. When I tell you, it's called In Your House Final Four. It's in February of '97. It's the main event of that show. It is one of the wildest matches you will see for that time period in WWE, then WWF history. I mean, the intensity is there. The fans are into it. The commentary is top notch. The story is great. The action is great. It's a great match. I implore anybody to check it out.
Yeah, that I do. I remember that match vividly. Like,
yeah,
that was one of the
first of its kind.
times.
Yeah.
I was about to say that was one of the really like the first times you saw, especially names like that interact when it was just the four of them for, for something like the WWE title. Yeah, that match was pretty dope. Q West, Sir Quiet Storm. I know you was banging on your chest because you was a little upset. What you doing?
I said it, and I knew it. I said I knew he was going to choose it. I said I have a feeling I know what it was because it just made sense. It made sense that Stretch would go that route. But I'm okay. That's why I came prepared.
We think very similarly on these shows, folks. This is done on the fly. That's why we do our research for you, the viewer at home.
we really do this. But honestly, that was definitely a very good match to choose because, of course, like the Final Four, that Final Four match was kind of like one of the first of its kind that you saw, again, of a Fatal Four-Way. I mean, it made sense that Stretch would go that route. Now, I would say that it only makes sense that even though he did choose, I end up, again, choosing another match that does entail with The Undertaker. But it also entails another one that you'd have to say rest in peace to. It would have to be Armageddon 2004, the Fatal Four match between JBL, Booker T, the late great Eddie Guerrero, and The Undertaker. Now,
Peace, Eddie.
This Fatal Four-Way was actually a very good Fatal Four-Way match to me because one, this was around the time, of course, this was JBL. He was the WWE champion on SmackDown, still going on as like the longest reigning SmackDown WWE champion. And it was funny because at this time, even with the video package, you saw that he was going against three different people that JBL has blatantly cheated to win. So for the longest, it only was right, especially at the time. Eddie Guerrero was also red hot at this time, as well as the Undertaker. He was also red. He was red hot around this time frame too. And also you had Booker T in the throw Booker T into the mix. So it only made sense. It was like, oh, let's see if JBL can actually escape. That was the whole point of like the story, to see like if JBL would actually escape this. And for the longest, it came out. JBL came out, Eddie came out, Booker T came out, and even Undertaker, him coming out last and him having the biggest standing ovation for the night. It only just made sense. It was like, okay, let's see how this is gonna go. For a good minute, JBL, he stayed out the way. He tried to stay out the way. He didn't want to go. He didn't want no parts. He didn't want no parts of any of them. He didn't want no parts of Undertaker. He didn't want no parts of Booker T. He didn't want no parts of Eddie. He was just trying his hardest to stay away. But then, as by the time he got back into the ring, because it was at a point in time where when the match started, Undertaker was beating the living crap out, daylights out of everybody. And then he was able to come outside. And he caught up to JBL and was chasing JBL around the ring. And then that's when he got cornered in the ring. He got cornered by Eddie, got cornered by Booker T, and he didn't even realize it. And you see it, there's a point in time where you see Undertaker's like slowly, methodically walking his way up on the steps into the ring. You see like JBL's over here like only focusing on Undertaker, not realizing that Eddie and Booker T are literally right behind him on both different sides, just waiting for him to turn around. And all three of them take turns in literally beating the crap out of JBL. So that was like a fun segment.
Sorry to cut you off real quick, but I still think, just as wrestling fans and seeing interactions like that, when you see the big heel or the big bad guy get beat up by like 3 different people or get like ping pong back and forth, I still think that is probably one of the funniest like moments in wrestling history when it is done correctly.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Mr. Marvel, for even saying that. But yeah, it just makes it so much funnier because again, as you're watching the match, you're just happy to see it because at the time everybody, this was peak JBL heel moment. Everyone hated him. They hated JBL. They did not want JBL to be champion anymore. But he just always kept on cheating some way. He cheated to win. He just always escaped. He always escaped with his grasp. So it's like finally, the ones that he cheated against, they're finally getting their hands on him. And of course, Eddie Guerrero, Eddie and Booker T, it's like they were doing the teamwork, because it's like you saw a different focus of the match. You saw the intensity with the Undertaker. You saw JBL's cowardice. You saw the teamwork specials with Booker T, and you saw the comedy acts with Eddie Guerrero, because even there was a point in time Eddie was just sit back and just let Undertaker beat the crap out of JBL. Like he was just like, oh, you got it. It was funny when they did that, but then even after when JBL was out of commission, then of course you saw Eddie and Booker T would turn and try to attack and beat up JBL. I mean, not JBL, did beat up the Undertaker. That was going on for a little bit, and then of course the Undertaker would go back, and he ended up going back and attacking them, beating them up. It was a lot of back and forths, even they even took it outside the ring. JBL still getting his ass kicked, getting thrown to the barricades, getting thrown to the crowd. Then even it was at a point in time that but then it was even came back to that. Then JBL tried to, not even JBL, he tried. There was actually a point in time where you saw the table spots even start to happen. JBL went and put JBL at one point in time had to put Booker T through the table. They tried to use the power bomb on him, and that didn't work. The power bomb through the table, it hit, but it didn't break. So then JBL would proceed to go up by the bell timekeeper's table and do an elbow drop through the table on Booker T, and you already saw Booker T was out of commission for a little bit. Eddie was already down in the ring after he was already getting his ass. He was getting his ass kicked by Booker and so forth. But then when JBL tried to go at the Undertaker had reversed that and then hit JBL with the last ride through the table. So now it's just like, okay, JBL's out, Booker T's out. Eddie sees this. And Undertaker, I don't think, even turned around in time to notice that Eddie's actually up, and he notices that everything's going on. And as soon as by the time Undertaker turns around, he's basically playing dead. He tries to play possum, like literally tries to act like he's knocked out. So I already know what's about to happen. It's like, all right, Undertaker's gonna go in the ring. Eddie's probably going to do one of his live cheat steal moments, cheat to win, to try to get one on the Undertaker. But what was funny is that when he did it, I think if I remember correctly, Undertaker had tried to hit. I think Eddie was trying to hit him with the possum, but then it didn't work, and the Undertaker had hit him with a chokeslam. And of course, Eddie had kicked out of that, and then it proceeded. It was like a back and forth between Eddie and Undertaker, constant back and forth, and then it got to the point where Taker finally got knocked down, and Eddie finally used that crowning moment and hit Undertaker with a frog splash. Not just once, but he went into the second turnbuckle and hit it on him again. So it's two frog splashes from Eddie, and you're thinking, oh, JBL's still out, Booker's still out, he's gonna win. And then after that, when it went to the 1-2, and that's when Undertaker kicked out, and this was possibly one of the best near falls of the whole night. After those two frog splashes, Undertaker still kicked out, and then after, Undertaker set up. So it's like that whole sequence between Eddie and Undertaker. It was good, but it also was like unfortunate because those was one of the only few times that you actually saw Undertaker and Eddie actually like go one-on-one for a little bit and actually wrestle. So then after that, when that didn't work, Undertaker was going to try to hit Eddie with a tombstone, and at that point in time, it was Eddie had hit him with a low blow, and when he hit him with the low blow, then that's when Eddie went, got the ladder, hit Taker with the ladder, and then tried to set up the ladder and tried to hit Undertaker again with the ladder from the frog splash from the ladder. And Undertaker still kicked out of that. So then it's just like, all right, what do I have to really do to put this guy down? By this time, JBL came back into the ring. Booker T came back into the ring. So it's like Eddie was over here hitting everybody with the ladder at this point. So it's just like, all right, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? But then even then, still at that point, still didn't work. It was literally near falls after near falls in this match because it was like, there's still the spot where Booker T had hit Eddie with the scissors kick. Hit him with the scissor kick. That near fall didn't work on Eddie, so Booker T couldn't get that. There was a point in time where JBL, he tried to hit a clothesline from hell. It didn't work, but he definitely hit a clothesline outside the ring. He hit it outside the ring, but it wasn't really as effective. But then what made it so crazy is that even though Booker was down, Booker was down. Taker didn't get back up. It was between Eddie and JBL, and at this point in time, Eddie had finally hit JBL with the Three Amigos, and when he hit him with the Three Amigos, and then even when that didn't work, this is when I think Taker had set back up, and he was actually getting ready to hit. If I'm not mistaken, he was actually going to get ready to hit Eddie with the tombstone. And when he was going to hit Eddie with the tombstone and actually end up winning the match, this is when Heidenreich appeared. Heidenreich came in and cost Undertaker basically this whole entire match. Came in, was beating the crap out of him, hit him with a special, and by this time JBL had already came too and was trying to pin everybody, and they all still kicked out. Eddie kicked out, Booker T kicked out. And then after that, when JBL had pinned Undertaker last, Undertaker kicked out again. And then Undertaker also set up, but then Heidenreich had still dragged Undertaker from back outside the ring and was basically hitting him with a submission to choke him out. And I guess Booker T, he didn't realize really what was going on. And that's when JBL just was quick with it and then hit Booker T with the clothesline from hell. 1, 2, 3. Hit that, got that 1, 2, 3. And once JBL, and it was so funny, is like as JBL won that match, he grabbed the title and literally not only he didn't run up the ramp, he ran through the crowd and got the hell out of Dodge. That's what made it so funny. That's what made it even so much funny as him as being this heel champion again. JBL escaped to win, but this was actually the second time that Heidenreich had cost Undertaker a match. Cost Undertaker the big one, the WWE Championship, because Undertaker was literally this close. He was this close on ending JBL's reign. And even there was so many near close falls, but I always want to say that it was a long match. It definitely was a long match. The match went on for like 25 minutes. But you just seeing all the different sequences of the match, and it really could have went anyone's game. I personally felt that, honestly, I would have been okay with either if Undertaker had walked out of there with that championship, or even if Eddie walked out of there with the championship. It would have been fine, because they both was red hot. They both were going good. But it's like, it's understandable. It's John Bradshaw Layfield, WWE champion, the wrestling god, as usual. So no matter what, he's always gonna find a way. And in this moment, he found a way to win. I would say
two things I just want to add, and I'm glad that you touched on this point in your review of that match. Escapability, and that's what made, I think, JBL's title reign so fun for me. I absolutely, a lot of people give him shit because he's not like, a quote unquote catch-as-catch-can wrestler. I think he was a great heel champion for that time period because people wanted to see him get his ass kicked so badly, and he escaped every single time through cheating. That is what makes a perfect heel. And he would come on television and lie the next night. That's heel 101. Like, and the second point, I just want to make it really quick. I think what's going to make all these matches fun and what makes Fatal 4-Ways fun is the character work and how it intertwines in the story of the match and in the story of the characters of everybody there. Like you were talking about how Eddie Guerrero would cheat his way through the match and stuff like that. Now you have that type of personality interacting with The Undertaker, and how The Undertaker no-sold, like, basically, both his finisher twice. Only like The Undertaker can, because it's The Undertaker. He does that. He sits up. When hit with your best offensive weapon, he sits up. So for somebody as crafty as Eddie, like, how is he going to be able to combat that? And plus, you have the story in that match also is like a sub-story with Eddie and his interactions with Booker T, because they had like an uneasy alliance at the time where it was like, I'm going to go all out to win this championship. And Booker's like, I'm going to go all out to win this championship. But at the same time, they're working together. Like, so it's like they're being tagged, they're tag team matches because, Teddy Long, it's like, I'm going to make a tag team match player. And, if somebody wasn't going one-on-one with The Undertaker, it was a tag team match. Right. It was always a tag match. So they were tagging a lot leading up to that match. And, just seeing how all those different personalities and different characters were intertwining and working with each other was so fun. That's a great pick for a match. I enjoyed that match. Yeah,
for sure. I agree too. That was, I wasn't expecting you to say that. I definitely, I mean, and here's the thing, and folks, I don't want to say I hope you agree, but what I want you guys to realize also is that there are just so many of these matches that we're talking about when it comes to, or just some of the topics from our previous episodes, when it does come to tag teams, when it does come to triple threat matches, when it does come to Fatal 4-Ways, that, some of these might be out of the blue. Some of these you might remember like the back of your hand. And there are just certain matches that are just so special. And that's definitely one of them also, especially during that time of the WWE, of what else was going on. Because, a lot of people call it the Dark Ages, which we, touch upon, from here to there. And Cena was carrying the company, Triple H was carrying the company, Taker always, even Michaels and Randy Orton, like, so seeing a match with those four in particular, and just like QS said, with JBL, or QSN stretch, excuse me, with JBL being, the heel he needed to be, and for so long, that match was just amazing. And also, sorry, one more thing. Just the fact that JBL cheated to win, in a way, but at the same time with Eddie having the life steal, character like that, I think that was another special dynamic, Go ahead.
Yeah, like, this is my last thing. Is like, it's funny. It's like the one thing I forgot to touch on is even when between that sequence of between Taker and Eddie, is like there was that one spot before Eddie did those fucking frog splashes where Taker was going to hit him with a last ride, and Eddie had literally the WWE Championship like curdled right under him, and as soon as he's getting lifted up in the air, he knocked him down, and that's when you're like that is just so funny. It's just like, oh, see, and nobody saw it. We saw it coming. Clearly, Undertaker did it. Like,
right.
Well, cheat to win. No matter what, like you got to do what you got to do to win. And it's like not even trying to hit one, but you try to hit 2 frog splashes, and that didn't work. And then you tried to even hit it off a ladder, and that still didn't put it down. So it's just like, oh man, it was just so many fun spots in that match. But yeah. I'm good. Like, it's just
yeah. All right. So for mine, it was really difficult because I had 4 that I wanted not necessarily to talk about, but 4 that I was choosing, and the 2 that I really was debating on is so difficult for me to choose personally, because both matches were just so amazing in their own unique way. But the match I'm going to choose will be Extreme Rules 2016 for the Intercontinental Championship. It was The Miz, Cesaro, Kevin Owens, excuse me, and Sami Zayn. And even the backstory, you already had the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn feud, as we spoke about in our previous episode, dating all the way back to NXT and all the way behind that. Cesaro, who really started, I don't want to say coming into his own, but really truly getting over with the crowd. When he came out, that's when he was coming out with the whole 007 style gimmick.
I love that entrance, by the way. I hate to cut you off. I love that entrance. It was so different from everybody at the time. Like he was coming through the side with like the gun barrel, like vignette, and he was walking with it, and then he would rip off. I love that entrance. I swear to God, I hate that they took that from.
And talking about entrances, which we will get into because that's one of my personal favorite things when it comes to wrestling, if not my favorite thing when it comes to wrestling. Excuse me. But I just wish they changed that background. I wish the background would have been a little more 007-ish, but we'll get into that another time. But yeah, this match, I mean, even from once the bell rings, the first thing you see is Zayn a lever kicking KO, just out of bloody nowhere. Even the camera angle, you don't see him running to kick him, you just see him kick him. So that started, and then everybody's going crazy, and then Cesaro runs the other way, hits Miz with the European uppercut, gets him out the ring. I mean, the thing about this match is that there was truly so many amazing moments. Like I have to say, oh God, you had Cesaro versus Sami Zayn at the very beginning of the match. They started to do the Tower of Doom, but then KO broke that up with the other 3. And you have to excuse me if you're watching this. I am looking down at my notes, so don't judge me. There was just a lot that happened, so I wanted to cover it precisely. The Tower of Doom, and then what else happened? Oh God, there's just, like I said, there's just so much. There was a part where Miz had Zayn in the corner, getting ready for an exploder. Cesaro came, grabbed Miz, gave him a German, and then as he did that, Miz threw Sami Zayn from the exploder. The uppercut train. When you had 3 men in the corner, pow, hits him once, pow, Cesaro hits him twice, pow, hits the other one, pow, hits him again, and right after that you had KO. KO hits everybody with the cannonball. So there, like I said, there were just so many spots, and it was just so fun to watch because like I said, you knew the hatred between KO and Sami, so they were going to go at it. Miz and Cesaro was going back and forth. But all of them had this like interaction with each other where whenever they were in a ring, whether it was all 4 of them or just 2 of them, or hell, even 3 of them, it was always magic. Excuse me, sorry. When KO went for the pop-up power bomb, Zayn went over him and hit him with the double arm German, and then if I'm not mistaken, Zayn ran to Cesaro. Cesaro popped him up, hit him with the European uppercut, and then after he hits him with the European uppercut, Miz comes out of nowhere, hits him with the skull crushing finale. You thought it was over right there and then, and Cesaro kicked out. And another thing about this match is that there were so many near falls that it was ridiculous how many near falls. I would really like to say that there was at least over 15 near falls in this match. I could be dragging it a little bit, so y'all gotta excuse me. But like I said, there was a whole hell of a lot of them. Even what else happened? Cesaro started with the swing. Cesaro did the I want to say like 15 rotations into the sharpshooter to the Miz. And then what was crazy about that is that I remember Maurice getting involved because you can't tap out in a fatal four way. It's only submission or pinfall. So Maurice grabs the Miz, and then when Cesaro comes back, he pulls Maurice into the ring. And as the ref is getting out, Miz is tapping. So and everybody wanted Cesaro to get that belt so bad. I mean, between Cesaro and Sami Zayn, there was so much love for them and for what they did in the ring and or what they do in the ring. Excuse me. So with Miz tapping and the ref not paying attention, that was killer also. I remember. Sorry, I just blanked out. Oh yes, so Cesaro. I remember Cesaro went back to go for the swing, and then Miz grabs, which I think also was one of the dopest spots in this match. Miz grabs the rope. As he grabs the rope, Kevin Owens goes to the top rope and frog splashes the Miz. That was so insane into KO getting hit with the neutralizer, and then you thought Cesaro was going to win, and then that didn't happen, and then Sami Zayn, as the match proceeds, Sami Zayn is getting his steam. He's beating everybody's like out of the ring. People are out of the ring, and I believe it was Miz that was inside the ring. Was it Miz or was it Cesaro? It was No, it was Cesaro. Excuse me. It was definitely Cesaro. Uh, as Zayn starts to run to hit the haluva kick, KO comes out of nowhere, super kicks him. Pow! As soon as he super kicks him, grabs Cesaro, throws him to the ring, hits him with the pop-up power bomb. Pow! As soon as he goes for the pin, uh, uh, Miz, uh, Miz pulled KO out of the ring, and it hits KO with the skull crushing finale outside. And then to end it, there was a spot, and it was at the end of the match where so Sammy throws. No, I'm sorry, Cesaro. So Miz is running towards Cesaro. Cesaro throws him over the top rope, and as soon as Miz goes over the top rope, Sammy hits him with the haluva kick. Everybody goes nuts. Sammy goes for the pin. 1, 2. KO pulls him out of the ring, and then Sammy's pissed. So Sammy's beating his ass out. Oh, excuse my language. Beating him outside of the ring, and as that happens, the Miz comes out of nowhere, goes for the pin, pins Cesaro for the 1, 2, 3. Miz retains the IC title, and like I said, there's something about that match. And that's and the things that I've mentioned was just a very small fraction of the spots and the excitement of what happened in that match. But I think that particular match, especially number one, that match stole the show. Period. There was no other match in that card that was as exciting as that match. And I'm not saying there wasn't any other exciting matches. I'm pretty sure Roman had a title match, and maybe Rollins had a title match also.
What pay-per-view is this again?
It was Extreme Rules 16. So there was a good matches on the card, but that match might have been one of the that match was definitely one of the best matches of 2016, and you can truly put that match up to any match that year, and that's on every show, every pay-per-view. to me there was I truly believe that there was no better there let me rephrase that. There weren't many matches that was better than that Fatal Four because, like I said, it just kept it was exciting from the very start, and it was exciting the entire match. There wasn't one dull moment where you were like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom." Um, but that match, like I said, that IC title match was probably one of the best IC title matches in the history of the title. Uh, so that's my pick for today.
I just have to like add. I'll say thank you, Mr. Marvel, for even bringing that match up because honestly, I actually forgot about that Fatal 4-Way match, and especially when I was like looking through the history, I really wasn't as long as these Fatal 4-Ways have been around. I literally like forgot that match and like slipped through the cracks. Especially because it's from the new era. It's definitely the new generation. So I'm glad that you brought that back to the forefront. So it's like I'm definitely gonna even go back and watch it again because even like it's as you were talking about it, it's clicking again. I'm like, oh crap, oh shit, how did I forget that? That's
and to bro to add on, even when I was talking about how some of those matches came to be, once again we speak about the rivalry between KO and Sammy. You got to remember that WrestleMania, that Money in the Bank match, Sammy stopped KO from winning the title. And then they had another match where it was super brutal for a title. I'm pretty sure it's for the IC, wasn't it? It was Miz, KO, and Sammy, which I could be wrong, but I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Um, but like I said, just the build up to that match, and then
right.
the match being what it was, it was just so damn fun to watch.
It was
And
it was.
yeah, I was literally like, though it was one of those matches where you were on the edge of your seat from the very beginning.
Great.
Striker.
Well. I will say, we do not plan these segments. These things do not have any prior planning or anything of the sort. But it is just funny how my segment, my piece, will bring this whole thing full circle. So, let me get my handy dandy tablet over here. All right, so
all of a sudden.
I mean, but yes. So in 2014, preferably February 27th, we were crowned an NXT champion. Mind you, this title has eluded this person for a while because the previous champion was a cheating scumbag. We'll say that much, right? So on the May 8th episode of NXT, we ended up having a 20-man battle royale, which ended up in a three-way tie. Now, three of these men, including the champion, obviously ends up in, a long scuffle. But, between that time, one of these men had ended up winning a triple threat between the three guys that they were let me see if I can say this properly. He won a triple threat against the other two opponents who had the three-way tie with him to face this then said champion. Still ended up losing, but it was a great match, obviously. But that same night, if not the next, that should be that same night, excuse me, because that was the first takeover. So that same night, we ended up having the two other men have a match, and one of the men cheated, which you will soon find out is one of my favorite, one of my favorite of the four people that I'm going to mention. And then eventually, we come down to September 11th, 2014. We have NXT Fatal 4-Way.
Preach. Church.
We
Tabernacle.
Wait.
Damn right. We end up getting this fatal four-way on September 11th, 2014, with the pay-per-view named NXT Takeover Fatal Four-Way. We have the champion, Adrian Neville, aka Pac. We have him versus Sami Zayn versus Tyson Kidd versus Tyler Breeze, which is my favorite, which was my choice of the match. But as you can see, as the story unravels, that he's not the choice of the match. Oh man, so what can I really say? This feud was building for about damn near what, 4 months, I would say, just about, maybe even longer. And this was for the long game. So when you say a perfect feud, Triple H built such a perfect feud between four people that could last months, that ended up culminating at this one pay-per-view in September. So we already had Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn having their little squabble, where Breeze is cheating to win, Zayn being one of the top faces at the time. He's trying to get his win. He's trying to push his way up there to get to this NXT title. He's not making his way there. You have Tyson Kidd, who is the fact minister, I will say, who's trying to basically elevate his career. He's trying to get out of that spot as Natty's husband. Or as the NXT crowd would say during the match, Tyson's chicken. We don't want him to be Tyson's chicken. We want him to be, a main event star in NXT. So automatically, you have a standoff in the middle of the ring as a match starts. You eventually get Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn on one side of the ring, or outside of the ring on one side, and you get Neville and Tyson Kidd, basically facing each other on the other side of the ring. Prior to this match, you actually had them on Monday Night Raw, which is when Monday Night Raw was showing off NXT stars, and you had Tyler Breeze and Tyson Kidd tag versus Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville. Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn had this awesome friendship, and they were trying to culminate into this match. They're trying to culminate it into a match where they could face each other one-on-one. Obviously, it didn't happen, so you get the Fatal Four-Way match. But let's get into the match. So you have basically everybody at a standoff, two people on one side of the ring, two people on the other side of the ring. Gets to a point where, Tyler Breeze and Tyson Kidd decide we're going to try and separate these guys. So they're fighting off. So basically, Sami Zayn gets knocked out at one point. They're fighting each other up the ramp. Eventually, we get Tyson Kidd and Tyler Breeze, who actually had a prior argument before the match happened. They're basically beating up Neville, getting him to the top of the ramp, where it's basically steel right there by the Titantron. And they suplex this man. Everybody's getting hurt. Everybody's getting injured. Eventually, Sami Zayn gets up out of his stupor and he tries to attack them. And they both team up again. They suplex him directly on the ring. So commentators are thinking, they're just going to separate. It's going to be Breeze and Tyson Kidd in the ring because that's what you want to do. That's the smart thing to do in a Fatal Four-Way match. You separate everybody. You get down to one person. You have that. You duke it out. Eventually, Tyson Kidd picks up Sami Zayn. So Sami Zayn is getting thrown into the ring. And we get this little bit of, thing going on between all of them. Eventually, I'm probably going to say this match out of context or, out of sequence, but just bear with me. We get a portion where Sami Zayn basically, he gets his bearings. He's basically, fighting the match. Eventually, we get him and Tyson Kidd in the ring. I think Tyler Breeze got knocked out at some point. We get him and Tyson Kidd in the ring. Tyson Kidd is who I'm going to call the pacemaker of the match because he is, he's slowing down the match. He's basically taking his time, breaking down Sami Zayn, kicking him, submission, stuff like that. Eventually, Sami gets a Koji clutch in the middle of the ring. Weren't expecting that because we don't really see Sami pull that type of move out. But we get him in the code. We get Sami getting Tyson Kidd in the Koji clutch. Um, and as things go on, basically, Tyson Kidd's trying to keep everybody out of the ring. So Neville's getting up. Neville decides to jump into the ring or, try to distract Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd jumps out of the ring. He kicks him straight in the chest, knocks him out. Goes back in the ring, starts to beat up Sami Zayn. Eventually now, Neville gets back up. He knocks him. He tries to get in the ring, interfere with the, Tyson Kidd having his moment. He eventually throws him out the other side of the ring. As Tyson Kidd's getting ready now to face Sami Zayn, Neville comes out of nowhere, knocks him out, basically gets him out of the ring. Sami Zayn now wakes up, heats up everything. He's getting hot. He's getting hot. Tyler Breeze jumps in. Sami Zayn does the little comeback mechanic as he always does. Gets thrown into the ropes. Does a little drop kick sequence. As he is about to go and do his suicide dive, we see Neville in the corner by the pole, and Neville just walks in front and stops him. Sami selling as greatly as he does always. He stumbles back scared because he thinks he's about to get hit. Neville decides to jump on the top rope, do a backflip moonsault, and knocks out both of these men. So as the heels in the match, they were trying to separate these guys because we were trying to see these guys fight for, a few months now. We're trying to see them fight for the title. No interferences, no nothing. Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn finally get in the ring and they start duking it out. Neville gets his sequence, kicks to the stomach, kicks to the head, does the little kick sequence, whatnot. Sami eventually stumbles, and Neville decides he's going to go in the corner, and he's going to run to the corner, do a whole backflipping sequence into, I'm assuming, maybe either a flipping elbow or something of the sort. Sami ends up catching him, which is a botch spot. I don't know if anybody knows it was a botch spot, but it's a botch spot. But Neville jumps too high above Sami, so Sami kind of clips him at the feet, and he falls backwards. And Sami decides to pin him. Out of nowhere, Tyson Kidd comes in and kicks him. So now we have Tyson Kidd pushing him out of the ring. We have Tyson Kidd basically trying to attack Neville at this point. He puts Neville on the top rope, and out of nowhere comes, Sami Zayn trying to intercept and beat up Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd, with the wherewithal, basically noticed that he's behind him, and he dodges, and Sami Zayn headbutts Neville out of the ring. Neville, as a champion, is back out of the ring again. We get a point where Tyler Breeze tries to come in and interfere as well. He basically gets thrown out of the ring. Same thing happens. Tyson Kidd does a pin. Yada yada. Let's see. I gotta run back to my little notes for a little bit. Give me a second.
Hey, I had to do it, brother.
Yeah, so so we get Tyson Kidd with the elbow drop off the top rope. Sami counters. We get Sami running for the haluva kick because everybody's raring for this guy to get this win. Out of nowhere, Tyler Breeze comes in the match, hits a beauty shot. Tyson Kidd runs up to him, hits a supermodel kick. Out of the corner of the camera, you see Adrian Neville jump off the top rope, and Tyler Breeze hits a spot perfect drop kick and knocks Adrian Neville out of the air. Now you have Tyson Kidd, you have Adrian Neville right there next to each other. Tyler Breeze goes for the pin on Neville, and then he runs for the pin. He doesn't get the pin, obviously. Then he runs for the pin on Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd kicks out. Madness during this whole match. Tyler Breeze is incensed. He's hitting the mat. He's wondering what's going on, what's going to happen. So now eventually Tyler Breeze gets to Adrian Neville. He gets some time to actually, get some offense in because everybody's getting shot in this match. Triple H did this match beautifully. He set this match up beautifully. So when I say everybody's getting offense and everybody's getting shine, everybody's getting, near falls and stuff like that. Now it gets to a point. Tyler Breeze is about to do superplex. Tyson Kidd jumps in, wants to, help his just pseudo partner, so they can get a basically double team superplex. Sami Zayn, jumps in out of nowhere. They do a Tower of Doom spot. Sami Zayn basically drops everybody, and he decides to pin. I believe it was Neville. No, he pins. He goes right for Tyson Kidd. Does the pin. Tyson Kidd kicks out. Tyson Kidd kicks out. You can't get a better fatal 4-way sequence than this. Now, go back to the notes. Okay. Now, Sami Zayn, getting tired, says, you know what? Screw this. I'm doing my best. Eventually, he's going mad, takes out Tyson Kidd. Neville manages to get back in the match, tries to, do what he can. He tries, I believe, a Red Arrow. Not too sure. If I mess it up, just correct me. He tries to do a Red Arrow. Eventually, Tyler Breeze gets involved, knocks him out. Right. Basically knocks him out. And we finally get Sami Zayn ends up hitting the Helluva Kick, I believe, on either Tyler Breeze or Tyson Kidd. And he pins one of the two. And out of nowhere, because Neville is outside, Neville decides to pull the referee out of the match. This is where we get this major turn because nobody's expecting Adrian Neville, which is the face at the time, he was a huge face at that time, to do something so heel. And Sami Zayn's basically cursing at him. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll cut this short pretty much. But basically, Adrian Neville gets this heel turn. I skipped a bit of the match, but Adrian Neville gets his heel turn. Champions do what champions do, whatever they can to keep their title. He pulls a ref out. Eventually, Sammy's incensed. He's wondering like what's going on. Eventually, now Tyson Kidd gets involved, and eventually, I'm assuming Adrian Neville knocks him out, and we get the Red Arrow on Tyson Kidd, and that's the match. Adrian Neville gets the pin. He screws over Sammy, which everybody's waiting for Sammy to get this title win. Everybody was waiting, for things to happen, and it just didn't happen for him.
Amazing choice. Amazing choice.
That was.
Yeah, I totally forgot. There was a spot that I just remembered, and I kind of skipped it because of shortness of time. Sammy does the through the bottom rope DDT. He does that on Tyler Breeze, and also there's a spot where Tyson Kidd. Actually, no, Tyson Kidd has two spots that I should mention. Tyson Kidd does like this monkey flip. Sami Zayn tries to counter with a monkey flip. Tyson Kidd flips that into a rollover into a sharpshooter. That was one part of it. Tyson Kidd also interrupts the match at one point later on, where he gets Tyler Breeze into the sharpshooter, and he gets him tightly into the sharpshooter. And as Tyler Breeze is about to tap, Adrian Neville jumps in the ring and catches Tyler Breeze's arm. If that didn't show you desperation of a champion, I don't know what it would be for that whole match. But that match was amazing start to finish. And I believe for NXT's first fatal 4-way match, I think that was a really impressive fatal 4-way.
Hell, it was Takeover Fatal 4-Way. So I mean, they really did build that up like, amazing. And I must say, I really do it. If he ever decides to listen to this podcast, Tyson Kidd, I miss you wrestling, bro.
I was just about to say that.
Injuries are injuries and they're horrible, and you know what I mean. But we miss you in the ring so much.
We didn't deserve it.
You and
We did not
Cesaro,
deserve
man, like that was probably one of the most fun tag teams we've seen in a long time. Also,
I just want to say this really quick. Speaking of Tyson Kidd, since we're on the subject, Tyson Kidd, two things really. Tyson Kidd, number one, is one of the more underrated talents that you will ever see in a wrestling ring. He's so sound technically, so
That's a
sound
fact.
technically in everything that he does,
That's a
And
fact.
the second
That's a
one
fact.
is, this was my second match that I was going to pick in case, I didn't go first in any way, shape, or form. I'm so glad that you mentioned this match. Tyson Kidd does not get enough credit, I think, for the trajectory of NXT and where it is now. A lot of the groundwork laid for NXT in the ring can be attributed to Tyson Kidd because he was familiar with that style that we see in the NXT rings now, that all out, like either very technical or very high flying style. Tyson was a jack of all trades, could work a lot of different styles, and he was so adaptable. And he was, in the early days of NXT, if nobody's ever seen it, he was a damn good heel. I mean, he played the part to a T. He was so snarky, and he wanted to get out of Natty's shadow. Natty had so much more success than him at the time, and they were playing up to that. And he's married to her, and it's like an excellent job as a heel. He doesn't get nearly enough the credit that he should for laying the groundwork for a lot of what we see in NXT today.
We did not deserve it.
He was definitely. No, I was gonna say he was definitely Natty's husband. Like you can hear it throughout the whole match. They were just berating him. Natty's better. Natty's husband. Natty's wife. They even said Natty's wife at one point, and it. As a man, that hurts you in the feels, man. But he was on Total Divas, and they made sure that he made sure that even though they're gonna make as much jokes, he said, "Yo, I'm gonna bring the NXT title to Total Divas."
Right? Who says that? Listen to the verbiage though. He's gonna bring the title to Total Divas. He was smart enough to play up to it. He didn't shy away from it. Like, I'm not Natty's husband or anything like that. He said I was gonna bring the NXT title to Total Divas.
Hysterical.
And hardcore internet fans hated Total Divas.
And that was what?
It was great.
Season?
Yeah, it was like around the first couple of seasons or so. It was
all it really
great.
Is that as fans, we took Tyson Kidd for granted, and we just clearly didn't deserve him. And it's a shame. It sucks that his career ended. I wish by a miracle he's able to make a comeback, and he comes back, and I bet you that everybody they'd eat their words from what they said before, and they'll be able to appreciate him more. Because when you look at his matches, he literally, as you said, Stretch, he's underrated, super underrated. And deserved more respect than he should have got.
No, agreed. I mean, the last of the dungeon, you know what I mean? Like that really truly does mean something. I mean, and you think about and you know what, TK, we will bring you up once again in this podcast for sure. But I mean, you think of the talent that came out of the dungeon. Chris Jericho was one of them, and I mean, it really is. Tyson. I would like to think Tyson has propelled so many careers, whether it be in the ring or backstage. And once again, Stretch said it. People don't give him enough credit for all the hard work that he truly does. Just as an honorable mention, I'm just going to. I really have three, but I just want to say one. And honestly, this might be one of the most hard hitting Fatal 4-Ways ever, and that was Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and Samoa Joe. I mean, the hate for Roman was real. And on top of that, they were in Brooklyn. I mean, SummerSlam in Brooklyn. You know how New York crowd is. We are some brutal people sometimes, and but the love that Samoa Joe got and the love that Strowman got, I'm pretty. I would like to think that Samoa Joe might have had one of the top top of the night, because when I tell you his music hit and everybody was like Joe, 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 everybody in that arena was chanting for him, and I mean, it got to a point where Lesnar was taken out, completely taken out. Strowman hit 3 power slams on this man through tables. No, I'm sorry, he hit 2 power slams through tables and then threw the other one over him. Like, come on, come on. I mean, and there, like I said, there was just so much feats of strength, and you really thought Lesnar was not going to make it. Um, Strowman looked like such a beast during this match. I mean, look at the other 3 opponents. Samoa Joe was super crafty, and we all know Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. He did his thing. But that's my honorable mention. I just think that match was once again, and they were hitting each other for real. Oh, so that's my honorable mention.
I have one as well, and it really goes to show you just how valuable NXT has been to a lot of careers. I think the fellas know where I'm going to go with this one, but it's NXT Rival, and it involves the 4 horsewomen: Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bayley in NXT Rival. That was like the first taste of, I wish we could see this on the main roster when it came to the women. That was like, you talk about the women's revolution. Those 4 women, as far as changing the landscape of WWE. Bellas came up with the hashtag, and they probably won't get enough credit for that in the internet anyway, of Give Divas a Chance. But as far as like, the crux of women's wrestling, one of the things Triple H wanted to do with NXT was bring back actual women wrestling in the ring. Not just there for eye candy and not just there for titillation and TNA. Those 4 women had a fantastic match at NXT Rival, and it's one of it is absolutely laced with storylines. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Sasha Banks won that match and won the title, but she was also part of the faction, the BFFs, with Summer Rae, who was more of a harken back to that time of yesteryear where the divas were a little bit more dainty, even though she was athletic in her own right too. Charlotte was coming into her own with that faction, and she became kind of like the de facto leader, and Sasha was like, they outgrew Summer Rae. Yeah. And the dichotomy in that match, those 2 were the heels going into that match, but Becky Lynch was also emerging as well. And Bayley was solidified as a fan favorite. Becky Lynch, I think that was her coming out party, really. That was like Shades of the Man, the character that we know and love today. I think a lot of shades of the man were in that match, and it was a coming out party for Becky Lynch. It was a coming out party really for all 4 ladies, and I implore anybody to watch that match as well. That Fatal 4-Way match at NXT Rival and some of the things that you saw from these ladies. Again, you have to put yourself in the mindset of what the fans were used to at that time. We didn't get to see ladies wrestling at that level that often,
And on top of that, because that was also one of my 3, excuse me, or 4, I should say. But Bailey was already considered the underdog, and she was, and as you watch, and like you said, it was really a coming out party for all of them. You really, from that, and honestly, from that moment on, they just, you watching that, no pun intended, evolution of just those 4 alone, to see where they went from there, from Rival to now. And I know everybody is waiting for that 4 horsewomen Fatal 4-Way for the titles at WrestleMania, because that will be epic, considering the growth of which all 4 women are now, and the growth that they will continue to have. Yeah, that match was not only a coming out party for those 4, but a coming out party for true wrestling for the women. And the beginning of them becoming superstars and not just divas.
Agreed wholeheartedly.
QS, you got an honorable?
I mean, I got a couple. I got a few. But I was going to wait till I was going to just take it on
Go
home. But
last.
I'll
No,
kill it.
that's cool. If you want to take it home, you can take it home. Go ahead.
I'll take it home.
Go ahead, striker.
Oh, okay. Maybe I hopefully I don't mention Brandon's match, but just looking back at the many different triple threats that the two triple threats that WrestleMania 2000 have, you can't go without speaking about the Fatal 4-Way match that happened at that pay-per-view as well.
Main event was a fatal 4-way. A lot of people forget that.
Yes, exactly.
It was.
It was. And it was a weird, like, even just, watching bits of it now just to recollect what happened. Weird bit, sorry about that. It was a weird bit of a situation because, you had the McMahons divided. You had Shane basically interjecting himself in the match. You had Cactus Jack. You had the Cactus Jack version of Mick Foley, which is a fatal 4-way match. There's going to be chairs. There's going to possibly be a barbed wire 2x4 spot at some point.
And
Like it's just it. I just look at it like, even just like I said, just looking at the clips now and stuff like that, just to see that the McMahon's divided, and then I think at one point Vince was against Stephanie at one point, and then now Shane's running in trying to basically screw over the match, and then Vince is running down the ramp basically trying to get back at Shane. Then Vince and Stephanie reconcile and whatnot. Like it was a
They were
it was a clusterfuck for
going
lack of
going
was
into the
Linda
match.
involved in that also?
Yeah, Linda was in the corner of Mick Foley. There was a McMahon in every
Right,
corner.
right.
The McMahons were splintered at that point, and
Yeah.
the marriage of, at the time, Vince and The Rock, because Vince was in The Rock's corner, was one of
Yep.
convenience.
Yeah.
Typical Attitude Era WWF. Vince ends up stabbing The Rock in the back and ends up siding with his daughter in Triple H, and thus the McMahon Helmsley faction or faction or regime or whatever they called it at the time, I can't remember, is born.
God, did they rule with an iron fist?
What?
Yeah.
So much fun.
Jesus.
Damn, from 2000 to now, right? Imagine.
Yeah, essentially. Shoot.
It went from storyline. It went from storyline to real life thing, right? So
All right, B. Or Quiet
take us
Storm.
home.
Squeeze me.
Well,
Take us home.
I'm gonna take y'all home. I have a couple of honorary mentions, but I want to just explain one. I think it's crazy how we always talk about these classic fatal forwards, but we don't. And we really, in the dark ages when Cena was the man, we actually don't give Cena enough credit, especially when it was back in Backlash 2007.
Yes.
Between John Cena
Yes.
versus Shawn Michaels versus Edge and versus Randy Orton. Y'all gotta have just keep it a buck and just say that fatal 4-way, as Honorary mentioned, that was an instant classic. It was good.
B.
No matter
Hold on.
from start to finish.
Wait. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I must say that match was going to be the match I spoke about, like hands down. But that match at Backlash 07 is widely regarded as the greatest Fatal 4-Way match in WWE history.
Boy.
WrestleMania 23 again, with Michaels and Cena, with Cena winning and Michaels not shaking his hand, walking away, and then you had that Raw match where Michaels beat one of the best match in Raw history.
Exactly.
With Michaels, I'm sorry to take that, Sean. I'm sorry, but this was literally the
Trust me,
match I was gonna say.
fully into this match, like I said, like this is, and mind you,
God.
like that
And the
Raw,
end of Rated RKO.
and mind you, that Raw, Edge and Orton were supposed to wrestle, but because Michaels and Cena went on for a complete hour in a singles match, they took over the time. So it just made more sense as Edge, he being the ultimate opportunist, just saw it as like, you know what? He didn't even mind because he's like, yo, just let Cena and Michaels beat the hell out of each other. Because then when Backlash comes, he comes just like steals and he's gonna steal the victory because he's the ultimate opportunist. But from that match from start to finish, you saw it. You literally saw it. It could have been anybody's game. Like bottom line, you saw the shades still of Rated RKO. They still were teaming up. They were still doing their thing, trying to team up against Shawn, team up against Shawn for the majority of the time, team up a little bit against Cena. And then at the point in time when you saw it implode a little when they were trying to like see who was gonna actually pin Michaels first, who was actually gonna get the win. And that's when you saw it was starting to change up. And then Orton and Edge did a double single leg Boston Crab submission on Michaels in the middle of the ring until Cena came back out of nowhere with a double bulldog on both of them and stopped that from happening. And then it even got to a point where you saw even from the outside where Cena was gonna try to where Michaels was gonna try to hit Cena with a bulldog onto the announce table, and then Edge had hit Michaels in the back of the chair to stop that, and then right on top of that you'd see Edge just say screw it and hit Randy Orton in the head with the chair. He was like, yo, screw all this shit. Like Edge was like, he's gonna do it for him. He's getting this victory. Doesn't matter. He's winning. It's right there in his grasp. But then it's like forth. It was a little back and forth between Edge and Cena. It was a little back and forth between Edge. It was about a little back and forth between even Cena and Orton. But then it started getting to the back and forth when everybody started getting back to the ring. So Michael started getting back into the groove of things. And it's so funny because you notice when certain times when you see Michaels wear certain attires in this current climate, you automatically think for a fact you're gonna get a show. The very same attire and outfit that Michaels was wearing for that Backlash 07, that's the very same attire that he wore when he went against Cena at WrestleMania. So you already knew. You were thinking, oh, it's going to be a 5-star classic. You said this is red and white Michaels with the chaps. Oh yeah, he's winning. No matter what. You
still coming out with the DX music.
Still
Also,
and just did not care, and it just was like, yo, Michaels was going back and forth. He was hit. He's over here. And then I think one of the best spots was when Michaels. I think it was I think Cena had dodged Michaels, and Michaels was gonna try to run an Edge, and out of nowhere, Randy Orton came out of the blue with an RKO on Michaels, and it just knocked him out of commission. That was probably one of the best spots of the night. I was just like, my God. And you thinking that it was over, it wasn't. Because even then, Cena was over here hitting people left and right with STFUs. He got Edge with it. He got Michaels with it. He tried to get Orton with it. He got Edge with it. And he tried to get Michaels with it. But then Michaels went and turned it around and tried to hit him with a roll-up. And it still wasn't enough. Yeah. And then Michaels was over here, was trying to hit elbow drops with everyone left and right. He hit Orton with one. He hit Edge with one. He was about to get Cena. He did get Cena with one. He did get Cena with one, actually. He was about to get Edge with one. He was about to do Orton, but then Cena got back up and hit, and it came and stopped him from hitting that elbow drop. And this is actually where Cena was starting to do that avalanche attitude adjustment or the avalanche FU at the time. And then when he was about to hit him with that, that's when Edge and Orton came back up, and they did their like mini little electric chair, their double electric chair with Cena with Michaels on his shoulders to hit everybody out, and everybody was out. This was just beautiful. And then in the end, what happens? Edge tried to even get it back up. He tried to hit Orton with a spear. Well, he tried to hit Cena with a spear. Cena dodged it. Orton intercepted Edge, tried to get Edge with an RKO. Didn't work. Didn't work. Next thing you know, you see Cena get hit with. You see Cena hit Edge with the attitude adjustment. Then you see him reverse Orton, hit Orton with the attitude adjustment. And as he hit Orton with the attitude adjustment, that's when Shawn Michaels came out of nowhere with Sweet Chin Music finally. Hit him with Sweet Chin Music, and he made John Cena win. Like, that was a Sweet Chin Music out of freaking nowhere.
Into the pin.
Into the pin, and Cena won.
Which is a Michaels spot.
What made it fucking beautiful, what made it crazy, was then after that whole match, Cena, he got away. He got away with the victory. He won. Michaels was pissed because again, Michaels looking at it and he's just like in the corner, just looking at it, and just like he's pissed because he's like, and he still didn't shake Cena's hand. He let Cena know straight up, you won because of me. I should have won that. I should have won that. And literally, it was by the skin of the teeth. Michael actually was going to get that kick out. He was going to cash in with the kick out. And honestly, it really should have been given. Michaels actually really should have won that match because even Cena, he over here just looking at him, but he was right. Michaels was right. Cena only won because of that sweet chin music into a pin. If Cena didn't miraculously just fall on him, Cena probably would have lost. And Michaels would have been WWE champion.
Yeah, I just want to add on one point to at least the story building aspect of it, because you had once again the WrestleMania match. You had Rated RKO. If people want to remember, or try to remember, not only did that match at WrestleMania happen for the WWE title, but they were also tag champs. And in between WrestleMania 23 and Backlash, right? Backlash, they lost the titles because Michael Sweet Chin Music to Cena, which made them lose the title to Miz and Morrison. No, maybe.
I believe so, but I think that holds on to the story. It holds on to the story. Never trust Michaels. Never trust him. Can't trust him.
And we spoke about that with our Triple Threat episode. You just can't trust Michaels. I mean,
never.
He's the greatest performer for a reason.
But it's just so crazy. Not only you can regard Michaels as like one of the greatest performers that has ever lived, but you gotta also give it to a fact that probably was, I would argue, that probably was one of Cena's best feuds. Like his feud with Michaels literally made him the guy. And you gotta give credit to Michaels. Like Michaels made Cena look good, made him look good.
I mean, and
at the same time, he still. Of course, you
can
can't
right.
take away from.
I mean, you can't discredit the other two.
But
best match of all, it really might be the best fatal four way of all time.
Also, it was one of the few times that you've seen Cena do the I think it was Shawn Michaels and Edge into the double AA.
Double A drop. Oh no, the double AA you saying?
The double AA part.
Double AA, yeah, he tried it with them too. Yep.
I remember. But
it's funny. I think
drop from the top of the rope.
But I think it's funny too because he did that again with the Edge, and I think it was Big Show, right? Was it Edge and Big Show?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
So, that was at WrestleMania. He did it with Edge and Big Show, which is one of the most phenomenal feats of strength I've seen in a wrestling match.
So it's sad seeing. So it's sad seeing Edge on both ends of that AA, but not winning the match.
Edge might have taken the most attitude adjustments of any wrestler in WWE history. Took one in the Hudson. He took one in the Hudson. I think that alone should give him the top spot. Took one in the Hudson. If anybody who's,
I think I remember that. Yeah.
For anybody who's not from New York listening to this podcast, the Hudson River is not the cleanest river in the world. To take an AA in the Hudson River is he gets my top spot. He's a trooper for doing that.
If you took a kimono drag, if you took a bearded dragon and threw it in the Hudson, Godzilla would come out. That's how nasty the Hudson is.
If you took a goldfish and threw it in the Hudson River, you'd get a Gyarados. I'll put it like that. That's how dirty the Hudson River is. It'd be a three-eyed Gyarados.
Have you ever watched the Simpsons movie and watched the fish come out? That's exactly what it's like.
Oh man. Just take a dip. You'll turn into Toxic Avenger. I'll tell you that much.
But yeah, gentlemen, I'm gonna leave it off like for that because that's the only other honorary mentions I have. I'll say that when in our private like after this, but for this, that's
Well,
before I forget,
sorry, go ahead, sir.
I would like to give a shout out to our unofficial sponsor for the day, Papa Shango's favorite beer, ladies and gentlemen, Voodoo Ranger IPA. Right? If you want your hangover to feel like a hex, go with Voodoo Ranger IPA.
ladies,
I did Heineken last week. I'm not doing Heineken.
Yeah, we got to switch it up, sir.
Yeah. We gotta get these
But
sponsors, man. Get them.
right? Ladies and gentlemen, once again, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been another episode of the Four Corners of Commentary. Once again, please like, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on so you know when we come on. We will be we will be posting on, on Spotify, hopefully Apple Music and Castbox and these other outlets sooner than later. You can follow me at Mr. Marvel 87 on Instagram and Twitter. Once again, because I'm gonna say it before they say it, because they always say it. Please join the page on Facebook, the Council of Commentary, and you can find us on everything. Twitter. We will be planning on having a Twitch out sooner than later. We will be on all platforms. Y'all can follow us and just have fun. Stretch, let's go.
Well, you can follow me, as you can see right next to my name, Stretch, at Jador Sapio. That is my Instagram handle. I will be the guy that is probably posting memes about social justice and drinking beer at the same time. Those are not mutually exclusive for me. I could do both at the same time. Like, and I can also walk and chew gum at the same time, too. I'm working on that one for years. But we have a lot of fun and upcoming things for this podcast that you guys should tune in for. Please give us a like, share, and subscribe. And also, please feel free to share your opinion in the comment section. Also, this drops on YouTube every single week. We would love to hear from our fans. We would love to hear from fellow wrestling fans. Please like, share, subscribe, and join our Facebook group, The Council of Commentary on Facebook. There's only one, and you definitely should be a part of it.
Quiet Storm, please.
Well, guys, as you can see now, I finally put my ad out there. I got tired of spelling it. It's, as you can see, it's Forever Thiefman. As you can see, as Mr. Marvel and Stretch says, follow us on the Council of Commentary. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, the same name, Forever Thiefman. Sorry to even say, gotta follow right at the Stretch. I literally, like I said, I'm probably the same thing, only with social justice. I post either social justice or I post a lot of hood comedy. So, it just is. It's just multifaceted. You can, but there's no
ghetto children.
I don't know. It's just what you see is what you get. And as you say, be on the lookout for a lot of things that we have coming up. You never know. Even on our YouTube, we might get something going. Try to do like a actual live thing, like a live episode, and just like.
It'll be coming soon.
You never know. It could be coming soon. Just be on the lookout. And yeah, just leave comments, leave feedback. All is welcome. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the support. And thank you so much, guys.
Sir Striker.
Well, you see my Twitter handle. This is me, Striker Dragoon, all day. If you follow me, you may see a lot of gaming news. You may see me post about, current events and stuff of that sort. I'm also a very good follow for sales. I always share some sales or whatnot. So definitely give me a follow on Twitter, please. And if it's not the first thing I'm saying, it'll be the last thing I say all the time. Follow us on the Facebook group, The Council of Commentary. Our Instagram is the same name, The Council of Commentary, and our Twitter collectively as a group is CO Commentary on Twitter. Thank you all for, just being great, viewing the videos, liking the videos, sharing it with your friends. If you like a video, if you like what we're doing, definitely, follow us on the Facebook page. We're looking for more members all the time. It's open door policy. Come through, state your piece, tell us about your favorite wrestling moments. Tell us who your favorite wrestler is. Just have fun. Just have fun and join the rooms. Definitely join the Facebook rooms. I don't think it's as good as the Facebook chats, but it's nice to see who you're interacting with. It's nice to hear who you're interacting with at some point.
Agreed. And
yes,
sorry to cut you off. Just so y'all know, if you tune in, this is dropping on Friday, the July 17th. The 18th is Slammiversary on Impact, and the 19th is Extreme Rules, the horror show. We will be doing the Facebook rooms for that, so please join us. Please, we're not begging, we're just saying, join us. We will be having a lot of fun talking on things wrestling, amongst others.
You must join us. Look into my eyes. You must join us. Join us.
Join us.
Google gobble,
One of
Google
us.
gobble. You will become one of us.
You guys need the Palpatine hood to like make this work. You need the hood. You gotta get like join us. Join us.
Join us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another episode of the Four Corners of Commentary. Thank you once again, and we out.